What's up, everybody? It's Josh Lyles, founder over at Sales-CRM, host of the Freight Sales Content Podcast. I'm here with Chip Reeves, my friend locally here in Nashville, Tennessee, founder over at Enablers. Chip, how you doing?
Good, man. Feel like there's not a lot of us local Nashvilleians these days, huh?
N-
Everybody's
n-
visiting.
yeah, everybody's visiting and bouncing out to different areas and all that kind of stuff. So
Yeah,
we got a couple people moving to Nashville, though, and we've got a big conference, I think, here next or tomorrow, actually. Are you going to that one?
nice. No, I'm not. Not that one.
Yeah, I'm not going to be able to make it either, but it was good last year with Reliance Partners.
Yeah,
Anyway,
totally.
excited to talk with Chip. Chip and I used to work together. So back in the OPL days for a little bit, where I was on the sales side, Chip was on the ops side, both in leadership roles. So that's how we were connected. And now he's the founder over at Enablers. But just getting started, Chip, what brokerages do you come from?
Yeah, it started out a long time ago at Coyote Logistics down in Atlanta, moved up to Chicago, working out at their Green Exchange building right off the highway there. Stayed there for a long time. From there, went to a warehousing 3PL, now known as CJ Logistics, formerly DSC Logistics, then moved down to Nashville for the Keep Trucking / One Point Logistics opportunity. Never left. Been in freight tech startups ever since, and then recently started my own little thing, which is not really tech related at all. I have a little bit of tech, but really leaning into my operational instincts here.
Are you checking the box Nashville over Chicago?
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah,
Could have moved back a couple of times over, and yeah, no interest in going back.
yeah. It's nice there during fall time and stuff, but winters,
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll be able to
I don't know.
stretch that.
Yeah, I think Chicago is honestly the best city in the world in summertime. I mean, you can't beat all the cafe seating outdoors. Everybody appreciates the nice weather, takes full advantage of it. But yeah, it's not even the winter. It's not like January, February. It's like March, April, May, where it's still like 40, 50 degrees, and the rest of the world is having spring and summer, and you're still, locked into the gray days.
Yeah. No, that's not, especially like once you start getting towards April, your March Madness is already through, you're watching the Masters and all that stuff, and
Yeah,
then you still got a winter coat on, no thanks.
that's what it's Masters weekend. You see the azaleas, and you're like, man, there's still frost on the ground up here.
Yeah, exactly. Well, cool. I guess just in a quick or in a nutshell, what does Enablers do? What do you guys do?
Yeah, Enablers outsource logistics operations and sales support. So really, whatever functions that happen within the four walls of a freight brokerage or logistics management company is something we can do. So sales, shipper and carrier sales, track and trace, back office admin, AP, AR, claims, customer support, customer success, account management, all those things we can do.
It's awesome. What made you want to start it?
Man, honestly, there's back in our Keep Trucking days, was introduced to my talent crew overseas, and they are highly intelligent, highly skilled, highly trained. They've got a lot of years of experience, and it's going untapped, really until now. So really, just trying to get these people that have a ton of freight experience exposed to more freight opportunities here in the U.S. Help brokerages, operate a little bit more efficiently here. And why now? I see the rise of AI. I think we're only going to be better as we kind of embrace that. We're not getting replaced. I'm not worried about that a bit. But I feel like people are really looking at their headcount, making strong decisions on, what makes sense, and cutting back where they're able to. And I feel like we offer a good solution to kind of keep that human element where you can have, human intervention, human intuition. Um, while keeping your costs in check and still having a good experience for your customers.
Yeah, so tell me a little bit about that, because I mean you're talking AI, but obviously like with what you guys are working on, you've got the offshore staffing piece of it.
Yep.
And I like what's on the website, because you've got the AI and HI piece, with human intelligence, for anybody that doesn't know that with that acronym. But I guess what's the relationship dynamic there that you see, and like with what you guys are trying to, no pun intended, enable?
Yeah, I think if you take a process and you overlay technology over it, there's still going to be gaps, right? you're not going to be able to fully automate every single click. You can turn something from 10 clicks to 2 clicks, or minimize something from 2 minutes down to 1 minute, but there's still going to be a need for that input. And like I said a second ago, that intuition. So that's really that line that I want to strike that balance. Have some technology that's going to fix a lot of things, make you very efficient, but where the technology can't fix things, put in another efficient solution on top of that, to double down on that efficiency gain, and then you really have something cooking there.
Do you see a lot of brokerages currently have AI in their tech stack right now, or is that something that you're talking with them about? Hey, like these are partners, vendors that you should be using, or even just you guys?
Yeah. I mean, everybody's looking into it, right? You'd be ignorant if you weren't. I'd say a lot of folks are kicking the tires on multiple things. They've implemented, one or two. I'd
Hmm.
say there's a lot of options out there. And, my client base, I'm going, small to mid-sized brokers. They've got to be smart on the tech solutions that they go after, that they invest in. So they might not be able to do, A, B, and C option on the AI front because they can only do A, or they can only do A and C, and then you forget B. And that's where we can come in. Like, you might not be able to get all the tech solutions that you want. Put us on top of it. We're going to be able to operate it. Then we're going to be able to operate, your accounts, your relationships, all of that a little bit smarter. Yeah, everybody's looking into it. A lot of tire kicking, a lot of implementation, but nobody, I don't think, has fully realized, how to fully utilize it. Ton of opportunity out there. You just got to string together the right cocktail and get the right ratios together.
Where do you see AI being implemented the most, at least right now? I feel like there is a lot of buzz and maybe even some, hey, it's on the way, but maybe not, current state today, but just from your
Yeah.
seat for what you're doing.
Yeah, a lot of track and trace, anything that's like inbound call related, you can route, that caller through different menus, different options if you control kind of the narrative there on the inbound side. So a lot of inbound calls are getting automated, a lot of the track and trace getting automated. A lot of the outbound, is still tough. But yeah, what I'm seeing right now is, a lot of the track and trace, a lot of the billing, a lot of just the mundane, repetitive things that require, a lot of documents, right? You can automate a workflow pretty easily with live documents. Same thing with track and trace. So anything that just requires a lot of touches, that's where people are focusing on right now.
So for our audience, because we've got a lot of people that listen to us, at least more on the sales side, you've been promoting some more stuff with Shipper SDRs, which I thought was really
Yeah.
interesting. SDRs, for people that don't really know what an SDR is, it's a sales development representative. You don't often hear about them, I would say, in brokerage, because most times it's just a cradle to grave broker, or you've got an account executive that's just shipper focused only, shipper sales only, and like they're trying to take everything from start to finish. What's a shipper SDR?
Yeah, Shipper SDR, you've got your AEs, your closers here in the US, and they're spending a lot of time prospecting, which is great, right? Everybody needs, any sales rep, you gotta prospect, you gotta stay sharp, even if you're closing a ton of deals, you're gonna lose your edge if you're not prospecting. But prospecting, I mean, your top sales guys are spending 30-50% of their time cold calling, banging their head against the wall, on a lot of activities that may or may not lead to some realized opportunities. What we do is we take leads, whether inbound, whether it's from a list that the client may have from that they gathered elsewhere. Um, and our reps that come with absolute minimum 1 year freight experience, they're calling shippers. They're figuring out where they ship. They're figuring out the types of products they're shipping. They're figuring out what hardships they have when they're shipping, how they schedule their appointments. If it's customer routed, if it's brokered out, if they already have contracts with asset carriers in place. They're doing a ton of the discovery work on the front end. So when we teed up a conversation with a US based account representative, all that's already done. It's already a qualified lead. They already have buying intent that we've already poked around for. And those are the ones that we set up with the US team. So they don't have to go through all of that cold discovery, all of the mundane processes and chit chat. We get that done and then send it over, and they're welcome to close the deal from there. Obviously, every customer has a different handoff point in that sales cycle, and we can do it, As soon as they show a little bit of interest, we can try to have my guys take it all the way through and close the deal. Like we'll customize it to your sales cycle how you want us to.
That was going to be what I was going to ask next, was about the handoff. I'm curious
Yeah,
of what that looks like, because some I mean, shippers, I feel like from experience, some of them will say like, hey, we don't want to be passed off to somebody else, right? Like an
right.
account manager, which is really
Yeah,
common.
yep.
How do you try to transition even just the handoff from, okay, hey, like we're on your radar, we understand all this information about you, but now here's an account executive, and they could eventually get passed off to somebody else, but how do you try
Yeah.
to keep that transition as smooth as possible?
Yeah, I mean, we try to get as much information out of the prospect on our first initial phone call or two, just so we can really understand like what that buying intent is. Are they truly interested? Is there opportunity for us? And then we're going to turn that over to the US based sales rep pretty quickly, just so they can be the ones to really foster that relationship and get it off the ground. We're going to be the ones, we'll go discover it, we'll go turn all the rocks over, we'll do a lot of that grunt work. We'll schedule meetings for you, and as soon as they're interested in buying, boom, we schedule it with you, and then boom, you take it home and close it from there. Um, so yeah, that's kind of the recipe that's worked nicely for us so far.
And then metrics wise, like performance working with the brokerages that you are, is it more so about just the general activity that they're doing, calls, emails, or is it more so, hey, we're working to get you X amount of meetings per month? What does that look like?
Yeah, all the above. Each client has kind of a different customized comp plan based on those types of activities. So, yeah, what the metrics we're looking at, yeah, emails, outreach, we're looking at call volume. Obviously, if you want to hit 50, 60 connections a day, you probably got to call at least double that in outbound dials a day. So we're doing a ton of outbound dials. We're looking at appointments set. We're also looking at, did the people actually show up for the meeting that was scheduled? You can, it's not much to schedule a meeting if the person doesn't actually show up. So
Sure.
we hold our reps accountable to connection rate, to talk metrics, to call volumes, all that stuff. And then, yeah, different opportunities. If they get, like test loads, if they get test shipments or, quoting opportunities, we get creative from those standpoints too. But yeah, call volume, meetings, and connection rate, that's really what we're looking at.
It's pretty neat.
Yeah.
Um, Man, I just had another question on the. Oh, um, this has come up at least like a few times, I would say, over the past year. Uh, and I guess I would say it's more SDR function,
Yeah.
but I've had a couple people that, really what they're trying to do is just basically get the main person to get on-site meetings. Do you guys have that as well, where the brokerages some of the brokerages that you're working with are more outside sales focused and just saying, hey, try to get me a meeting scheduled so I can go visit the shipper? Has that happened?
Yeah, right now it's primarily just been inside sales, not
Okay.
necessarily pushing for on site in person meetings. I mean, absolutely up for it. Put us in, coach. We're ready to do that. Totally.
Yeah.
We haven't done it, but fully confident that we can.
Good deal.
Yeah,
All right, I have to ask, how big of a factor is the CRM for a shipper SDR? Because if you're talking about all that discovery information, I mean, that's a lot of information. It's got to
yeah.
be retained somewhere. What does that look like?
Yeah, yeah. So obviously, the client, we use whatever CRM they use. Obviously, our reps are going to be required to maintain it to, however, whatever process, standards that they have. They're going to have, clean data in there. And so, they're only as good as the data they put in. That's where the activity is going to be tracked most likely. That's where we're going to be able to see all those metrics we just talked about. So yeah, you got to adhere to the CRM, got to follow the processes, log your call, call depositions, all the things in there. Um, yeah, it's like all CRMs, they got to be easy to use, or you lose, compliance pretty quickly. But my reps understand the importance of data hygiene and input, garbage in, garbage out. So if you don't put quality data in there, they're not going to get a quality review of their performance, and that will reflect on them at some point.
Gotcha. What what's been the top role? What's been the hottest role that you've had to, that people have been asking for recently?
Yeah, I mean, recently it's been the Shipper SDRs. I've
Okay.
been going, 110 miles an hour on that for probably 3, 4 weeks now. I mean, overall, since inception, your good old ops rep, track and trace, carrier ops, that type of thing. So I still have more people placed in the traditional ops, but man, recently just there's been a lot of buzz around the shipper SDRs just because there's a lot of advantages around it. I mean, you avoid burnout, from your top sales reps. Those are the last people you want to churn out.
Yeah.
Your cost of business acquisition goes down. If you're a broker that's looking to get acquired at some point, and you're acquiring millions of dollars of business for pennies on the dollar by outsourcing it, that just makes you more attractive to potential buyers. So those are the traditional ops roles, but real recently, the shipper SDR is coming in hot. People are getting um, not desperate for revenue, but yeah, they're looking for creative new ways to generate it in a creative fashion until the market totally turns around, and this is a good way to do that.
What are the main objections that you get?
Main objection. I mean, just like anything. I mean, when you're talking about a service, they pick you apart on what your service is, what assets do you have, what assets don't you have.
Hmm.
But me selling to brokers, I mean, it's not having people under the same roof. Um, which at this day and age, I just tell people, hey, onboard our reps just like you would any other remote employee. 2025, I'm sure pretty much everybody out there has had some sort of taste of remote work. Um, and that's what we preach. Onboard is just like you would anybody else. There some people are concerned about a language barrier, cultural difference. There might be. That's one thing we screen for. Obviously, English proficiency, fluency is something that we absolutely have to have requirement for. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's a multinational industry that we work in. I mean, there's all walks of life driving the trucks and scheduling appointments and unloading the trucks. So it's a good industry to have a diverse background in, and that's something that we're really leaning into.
Going back to the training, because I thought that was pretty interesting. I mean, obviously,
Yeah.
if you're talking about, hey, they're capturing all this information and stuff, I mean, they've got to be highly trained for that. So I know that you're doing a lot of that. I'm sure you have some situations where you're working with some niche brokerages that, you know, maybe, hey, like this hasn't been trained quite yet, or have you had any of those situations where, you got to
Yeah.
collaborate on the training and whatnot?
Oh, absolutely. Because I mean, everybody does things a little bit differently. So our reps, they come with minimum 1 year freight experience, and that's not classroom training. Just looking at presentations, lectures all day. Like they have touched VOLs and PODs. They've logged on to DAT. They have talked to drivers. They have, heard about the blown turbo excuse a million times. Like these guys know it. So on top of their experience, we put them through logistics 101 just to make sure that they have the absolute same foundation. And one thing we really harp on there is geography. I think it's really important when you're in transportation, when you're just blurting out these small to mid-sized cities that a lot of these DCs and facilities that we work with are in. You've got to be able to recognize, one from the other and understand, the big, mileage differences between the two places. So having that intuition, geography gets them very far. Then we also have a couple of specialized tracks. So if like, hey, I'm going to bring on a rep for safety and compliance. So after the Freight 101, we'll put them through another training program that's specific to compliance, carrier vetting, carrier onboarding, and the technology around it. We
Interesting.
have we have a shipper sales track, we have a carrier sales track, and then we have just a day-to-day ops track. Um, so if you want your reps to go through, it's one additional week of training. So it's one extra week till you got butts in seats, but it pays off in the long run.
Is turnover difficult?
It hasn't been. I mean, I'm also lucky. I've only been around since November of last year, so
Yeah.
fairly new
Sorry.
company.
Not
Uh,
not necessarily, I guess, with like your customer. I'm saying with like a rep. So let's just say I'm a brokerage and I've got two shipper SDRs. Is it common for like one of those SDRs to be like, hey, this isn't for me, I'm out? Or, if we just don't work together, I guess more in that scenario.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, no. I mean, it kind of to my original point, like I haven't had much churn. I've had two reps churn out since I started this thing, and I've got over 40 plus out there. So, batting good batting average out there. But I encourage my customers fail fast. If you see something you don't like, let's fail quickly. Let's take
Yeah.
it, let's take quick action on it. We'll backfill it. We'll do something else. But if it's something that you don't like, just fail quickly at it and make a change. Cause I mean, you just keep doing the same thing you don't like over and over again. The just resentment builds up and it never gets better.
That's really cool, man. I mean, that definitely sounds like something that people should be checking out and exploring. I mean, I
Yeah.
guess just for like, I feel like with how you're positioning the company, you are going to be obviously doing more and more in the space. You know, like you just started the Shipper SDR, as you mentioned, 3, 4 weeks ago and whatnot.
Yeah.
For whatever you're open to sort of sharing, but like, what are you at least most excited about right now for the future growth and plans?
Yeah, so working with some of the big tech providers out there to get my reps pre-trained on their technology. So, for instance, if you have a compliance or risk rep going through that risk track training track, we're going to train them on some of the big compliance packages out there that people are using. Same thing with the sales folks. We're going to make sure that you already know, Salesforce, HubSpot, all that stuff, Sales Dash. We're going to make sure that they're up to speed on all the technologies just to make that ramp time even easier. So that's what I'm excited about, is having those partnerships with the tech providers out there, especially some of the like AI chat bots that you wouldn't think would be a partnership opportunity, more of a competitor, but got some partnerships kind of be the control tower view. And when you see something kind of on one of their dashboards that needs that intervention, my guys are going to be pre-trained and know how to kind of take action on that task there. So um, hopefully, kind of out of the box, we're going to know a lot of the packages out there, so you don't have to train our reps on it.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah, man.
What's life been like for you as a founder? Has it been everything that you expected, a little bit more?
It's been absolutely everything, good, bad, everything in between. I mean, the toughest thing is just like kind of, not necessarily having a partner sitting beside you every single day that you can just like bounce ideas off of. So, I mean,
Yeah,
it's cliche saying it gets lonely at the top. I mean, I wouldn't say I'm at the top. I'd say, I'm at the bottom. I've got to grow this thing and build it up.
yeah,
But like not necessarily having somebody check you, be like, that's a terrible idea. You should not do that. Like, it's good to have somebody there. But I've grown my network. There's a lot of founders that I know that I talk to on a regular basis that are kind of helping me out and giving me some tips along the way. But I'm building the plane as I'm flying it, man.
yeah. It's tough, man. I've been there too, like without having anybody, and especially when you're in a space where, hey, like offshoring or, whatever it may be, it's going to be
Yeah,
tough to be like, who can I actually talk to about this that has any kind of knowledge or even interest, right? It was the
yeah,
same with the
yeah. No,
CRM. I'm like, who really wants to talk about a logistics specific CRM? And then, it's just like unique challenges that come along the way that a lot of people honestly may not really have an answer for you on. But um I mean, yeah, I mean, so much of it is just maintaining the roller coaster of each day. There's highs and
yeah,
lows all within the day, and like you can be at a high note in the morning, low note in the afternoon, back to a high note, back to a low note really quick.
yeah, yeah.
So much
It's
respect,
funny when
man.
you. Yeah, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I know you've been on this journey for a few years now, so much respect to you. And I mean, you've helped me out along the way too. So I appreciate your input.
Yeah, no, of course. And I mean, honestly, we probably should be talking more and grabbing coffee and all that kind of stuff, while we're
Yeah, I know.
here, because I'm sure it's a lot of the same. Well, no, Chip, this has been good, man. Where, if anybody that's been listening has been interested in learning a little bit more about what you guys do, how can they
Yeah.
find the company? How can they get in touch with you?
Yeah, we're on LinkedIn. Our website, enablershelp.com. Reach out to me, email chip.reeves@enablershelp.com. Give me a call. You got my cell phone number. It's on LinkedIn. So just hit me up. I'm here for you.
Good deal, man. If you're out there, if you're a brokerage just looking to increase the cold calls, boost it up, try to get some new sales, get some new customers, then you got to make sure that you're reaching out to Chip. So,
Yeah, man.
Chip, it's been good, man. Good to connect and talk a little bit deeper onto what you're doing, because I know it's fast paced with what we're both doing and stuff. But
Yeah,
no,
it's a fast world.
yeah, I'll be hitting you up on the side, because we work with a good amount of small to mid-sized brokerages, and I think that this is going to be something that a lot would be interested in exploring, and I think our audience will get some value out of it too. So,
Love
thanks
it,
for
man.
taking
Let's
the
help
time.
each other out. Yeah, man. Talk to you soon.
Cheers. Thanks,
All
Chip.
right. See you guys.